Welcome to the Fatos Historicos channel. In today's video, you will see rare photos with incredible stories. Don't forget to like the video to support us, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming ones. Now, after years of serving in the army, Gasper decided to emigrate to Australia. When World War I broke out, he joined the Australian Army, despite being 79 years old. He was sent to Europe and fought on the Western Front. This image captures Gasper's determination and courage. Even at 79, he refused to sit out the fight for freedom and peace. The Soviet Union was invaded by Nazi Germany, leading to one of the bloodiest battles in history. Eugene Stepanovich Kobatel joined the Soviet army and was sent to the front lines. During the war, Eugene bravely fought against the enemy, risking his life for freedom and peace. He witnessed the horror and destruction of war firsthand. This image reflects the transformation Eugene underwent during the conflict. New York was a city plagued by high crime rates and violence. Drugs were rampant, and the police struggled to maintain order on the streets. To combat crime, the New York police began using undercover officers who infiltrated gangs and criminal organizations to gather intelligence. This image shows an undercover officer at work, blending in with the crowd and trying to remain unnoticed by criminals. In 1957, racial segregation was still a reality in many schools across the United States. Dorothy enrolled in a white school in Charlotte, North Carolina, challenging the discrimination and hatred from white students. This image captures Dorothy's strength and dignity. Amid the hostility from her peers, she stands tall, facing prejudice with courage and determination. A girl who grew up in a concentration camp was invited to draw her home, but all she produced were scribbles. The meaning behind those lines remains a mystery. Perhaps they represent the chaos and despair she experienced in the camp, or maybe the barbed wire that separated her from the outside world. What we do know is that she endured inhumane and terrible conditions that impacted her mental and emotional health for the rest of her life. A German prisoner of war returned to his hometown only to discover that his house had been bombed and his family was missing. It is a depressing and sorrowful moment that illustrates the pain and suffering many experienced during the war. He stands desolate and desperate, finding his hometown in ruins, likely questioning what happened to his family and friends. An adorable story from the Korean War involves Mishab, a little orphaned kitten adopted by Sergeant Frankie Prater. This image shows the cuteness and love between Mishab and her new adoptive father. She was only 2 weeks old when found, but under Frankie's care, she grew strong and healthy. She became a faithful and loving companion to the soldiers on the front lines. A unique and fascinating tradition among the Padau women of Myanmar involves wearing neck rings, also known as brass coils, which are placed around the neck, creating the illusion of an elongated neck. This tradition has been practiced for centuries by the Padau women and symbolizes beauty and elegance in their culture. During the Cold War, the Berlin Wall was constructed to separate East and West Germany. The wall symbolized the division of Europe and the political tensions of the time. In this image, we can see a moment of humanity amid the Cold War tensions. The soldier from East Germany ignored orders not to let anyone through, and helped a child from the other side cross the wall to reunite with their family. The soldier put their life at risk to assist a child in need, demonstrating that compassion and empathy are universal values. In 1992, during a Ku Klux Klan protest, an intriguing and disturbing image was captured. The photo shows a boy dressed in the Klan's robe and hood touching the shield of a black police officer. The Ku Klux Klan is a group that promotes racist and discriminatory ideas in the United States. Over the years, the group has been responsible for numerous acts of violence and discrimination against ethnic and racial minorities. An image of a Buddhist monk feeding a tiger is an extraordinary and rare scene. In this photo, we see a Buddhist monk providing food to a tiger, illustrating the Buddhist belief in compassion and care for all living beings. Buddhism is one of the largest religions in the world, with millions of followers worldwide. One of Buddhism's core beliefs is compassion, the idea that we should treat all living beings with kindness and care. During World War II, Brazil sent about 25,000 soldiers to fight alongside the Allies in Europe. Among these soldiers was one in particular who became known as the snake is smoking, a phrase used by Americans to refer to something that is impossible. This expression was used to describe Brazil's participation in the war, as many believed it would be impossible for a South American country to send troops to fight in Europe. The image shows an elephant with a mounted machine gun on its back. It is believed that this technique was used by British and German forces during the war, with the idea that the elephant could carry the machine gun through difficult terrain, while the soldier operating it would be protected. In 1931, a courageous journalist risked their life to take photos of mobsters present at Al Capone's trial. They endangered themselves to capture these images and expose the truth about the mafia's presence at the trial. The 1930s were marked by the rise of the mafia in the United States, with leaders like Al Capone dominating the organized crime scene. World War II had a profound impact on the world, affecting all aspects of daily life, from the economy to agriculture. In the image, we see a farmer painting stripes on his cow to increase visibility during blackout conditions. During the war, lights were turned off in many areas to avoid air raids, making it difficult for drivers to see animals on the road. Many children suffered from a lack of basic supplies, such as clothing and shoes, during World War II. In the image, we see an Austrian boy receiving new shoes. It is a simple scene, but it reminds us of the importance of helping those who suffer. In times of war, these small gestures can make a significant difference in people's lives. In the image, we see a guard measuring skirts to ensure they weren't too short. At the time, there were strict restrictions on beach fashion, and women could be fined for wearing outfits deemed too revealing. In the 1920s, women faced fashion restrictions that may seem absurd today. During the Japanese occupation of Leyte Island in World War II, Captain Nieves Fernandez became a guerrilla leader known for her courage and combat skills. In a historic photo, she shows American soldier Andrew Lupiba how she used her long knife to silently eliminate Japanese soldiers. The story of Captain Nieves Fernandez is an important example of women's contributions to war and the fight for freedom and justice.